Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about reading the wind when you're shooting 9mm out of a rifle and making estimated adjustments. Okay, now this isn't an exact science because the wind is not consistent, right? The rate at which your bullet drops is consistent, but not how the wind is going to move it. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is how to read the strength of the wind. So I've got these ribbons hanging on the trees here. Let me turn you out a little bit more that way so you guys can see it. There you go. So if you look at these ribbons over here, you see the ribbons right here, the pink ones? Okay. So if the ribbon's hanging straight down like this, that's a 0 value. If the ribbon's all the way out like that, that's a 20-mile-per-hour wind, right? And then you just divide in quarters. So that's 0, 5 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour, 15 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour. And if it's flapping like this, that's more than 20 miles per hour, right? So that'll be somewhere between 20 and 30 if it's flapping. Could be more, but so that's 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, okay, going straight out, okay? So I just remember 0 and 20, and then, I just divide in quarters in between. So that's the strength of the wind. So that's an important thing. You gotta know how much wind you have. The ribbon, and what you want to do is you want to put ribbons, ideally all the way down range, right? I have them all the way going all the way down range. Let me get you guys looking back in that direction. You're not going to be able to see the ribbons I got down range because you're zoomed out, but I got ribbons hanging right by my target. So usually when I'm shooting, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick look at this ribbon here and a quick look at the ribbon downrange, okay? And it's important. What I want to see is, how much of an angle they have, right? Is it 0, 5, 10, 15, 20? And I want to see if they're going in the same direction both here and downrange, okay? Because the thing with the wind is it's really inconsistent. Sometimes I'll have ribbons that are not moving here but are moving downrange, or the opposite, right? Or sometimes I'll have the ribbons going in different directions. The ribbons up here will be going in that direction. The ribbons downrange will be going in the opposite direction. The reason is because the wind is basically doing like a tornado type of thing. So up here it's going this way, and then it's curving around down there. It's going in the opposite direction, it's doing a lot of that today, right? Actually, as I was walking downrange earlier, just from here to like 20 feet in front of me, I had like one wind ribbon going this way, and then like 20, 30 feet in front of me, I had the ribbon going in the opposite direction. So we're getting a lot of these twisters today, right? So a lot of twisters. But sometimes the wind is all going in one direction, and that's important, right? Because if the wind is going in the same direction, both uprange and downrange, I would consider that a full value, right? Full value, the wind is going consistently in one direction. But if the wind is going in one direction over here, another direction on there, so now I got to basically make an estimate, try to figure what's going on. But before we talk about the ribbons anymore, let's talk about the adjustments that we're going to make, right? So these values here are based on a 10-mile-per-hour wind, okay? So 10 mile per hour, right? So we said that's 0, 5, 10. A 10-mile-per-hour wind is here, right? So here's the thing. And I mean, you can make a table that has all the values at all the different speeds, but what I do is it's just a lot less data. If I just work with 10 miles per hour, well, which is here, well, if it's at 5 miles per hour, right, which is here, I just cut these values in half, okay? Or if these values are at 10 miles per hour here, and I can see that my ribbon's out at 20, I double the value, okay? So that's why I just focus on the 10-mile-per-hour wind, right? And then I make a decision, do I have to cut it in half or double it, okay? So with a 10-mile-per-hour wind, let me show you guys an update, an up close here, okay? 10 miles per hour with the 9mm, right? This is with 9mm, right? If I have a full value going to the left or right, that's a half-foot adjustment, right? So basically I've rounded these things up to the nearest half foot or foot. So at 100 yards, 10 miles per hour, full value is a half foot. Then at 150 yards, it is 1 foot. 200 yards, it's 2 foot. 250 yards, it's 3 foot, right? So as you go further out, the adjustment increases, okay? So 100 yards, half foot. 150 yards, 1 foot, 200 yards, 2 foot, 250 yards, 3 foot, okay? So, and here's the thing, the winds, it doesn't make any sense to try to get this down to a finer, you know, to a smaller calculation, right? It doesn't make sense to go to say like 10 inches versus 1 foot at 150 yards, because the wind's so inconsistent, you can't be that accurate. So that's why I round off to the nearest half foot or foot, okay? So that's if both ribbons here and downrange, right? So we're working with at 100 yards today, right? So at 100 yards, if I have a 10-mile-per-hour wind, which is ribbons hanging like this, if my ribbons are uprange and downrange are hanging at the 10-mile-per-hour position, I'm gonna move my dot over a full half foot, a full 6 inches. Okay. Now, if I see that my ribbons up here are going left, but my ribbons downrange are going right, it means I got one of these twister things over here going on. So what I would do is I would say that they cancel each other out, right? So if the winds are going, if it looks like the ribbons are going of equal strength in opposite directions, uprange and downrange, I say that they're canceling each other out. If my ribbons are hanging neutral over here, right, uprange, they're hanging neutral like this, but then downrange, they're at the 10-mile-per-hour position, what I would do is I would cut this value in half, okay? So if I got a 10-mile-per-hour wind, if my ribbon's neutral here, at the 10-mile-per-hour position downrange, right? So instead of making a half-foot adjustment, I would make, a 3-inch adjustment, okay? So there's a lot of calculations that you just gotta, you gotta develop this judgment where you can look at your ribbons, uprange, downrange, have this as a base to work off of, and then make a quick calculation in your mind, where do you have to move. Now the other thing is, today it seems that the wind is blowing either left to right or right to left, okay? I'm not getting diagonal winds, okay? Because if the wind is going diagonally, right? Let's say both ribbons are going in the same direction but diagonally, right? Now I would also cut this in half, right? So if the wind would, instead of going this way, if it was going that way, all right, at 10 miles per hour, right? Instead, in the diagonal position, instead of making a half-foot adjustment, I would make a 3-inch adjustment, okay? Now, if the wind is coming at you or moving away from you, okay, I'm not going to adjust that at all. Now, theoretically, if the wind is going away from you, it's basically pushing your bullet, so it should speed up a tiny little bit. If the wind is coming at you into your bullet, it should slow it down a little bit, so your bullet should drop a tiny little bit. But we're talking about less than half of an inch, and you just can't be that accurate when the wind is this inconsistent. So that's why I completely discount the wind coming straight in or going straight out. I do calculate diagonal, especially if ribbons uprange and downrange are going in the same direction diagonally. I take that into account. Or if I got one ribbon going this way, one ribbon going that way, at 90 degrees at full value, that cancels out. But if I got full value going this way and then hanging neutral that straight down, that's a half value adjustment. So basically, again, let me show it to you guys. Now, the nice thing about 9mm is that you get to do these type of adjustments at 100 yards, okay? Because if I was shooting .223 at 100 yards, right? Well, here's the thing. At 100 yards, if I have a 10-mile-per-hour wind, the most it's going to move it is 1 inch, right? It's a full value. So it's a 1-inch adjustment, which, you're probably not even going to make, okay? You pretty much have to get out to, because at 100 yards, it's a 1-inch adjustment. At 200 yards, it's a 5-inch adjustment, right? And at 300 yards, it's about a 12-inch adjustment. So I would have to get out to 300 yards with 5.56 in order to have to practice to do the same practicing that I'm doing today at 100 yards with 9mm. So 9mm has that value. You're able to kind of bring everything back, right? And the stuff that I would normally be practicing at 300 yards with 5.56, I am now practicing at 100 yards with 9mm. Okay, so that's a good useful way to use 9mm. So where you can practice these type of things, and you gotta do this a lot so that you can. Because here's the thing, you gotta look at this ribbon here, look at that, you know, from here, right? Then I can't see the ribbon. I gotta get in my scope, so I gotta look over my shoulder at this ribbon, then get on my scope to see what the ribbon downrange is doing, and then quickly take my shot before the wind changes direction again. Okay. So it's just a practice thing, right? But this is a good place to start off with. If you're interested in shooting 9mm on windy days, right? And like I said, if you got a 20-mile-per-hour wind, you just double these numbers, 5 miles per hour, you cut these numbers in half. Let's put this down now. The ammunition that I'm using is, I'm working with this stuff, right? This the Sergeant Major munitions. This is from Tula Works. So this is supposed to be range friendly, but it's still magnetic. So I don't know how range friendly it's going to be. Most ranges that don't allow steel case usually do a magnetic test. So, but I've been working with that at 100 yards. When the wind was dead, right, I was able to get a 4-inch group with this today. It's never really dead today, so I think on a nice day I'd be getting about 3 inches with this. But today I was able to hit 4 inches with this at 100 yards when the wind was both dead uprange and downrange. Let's put this down. Let's see if I can get any hits at 100 yards. I got a 6-inch plate out there I'm trying to hit. Now the 6-inch plate is a good size for what I'm doing, because here's the thing, if let's say I took this plate over here that's 2 foot by 1 foot, and I took that downrange, well, even if I got a 20-mile, you know, if the whole thing is a foot wide, even if I have the wind pushing it, chances are I'm still going to hit it someplace near the edge. So I needed I want a target that's just small enough, right, at 6 inches, where it matters, where I need to make that adjustment, where if I don't make that adjustment, I'm probably going to miss them. Let me put my earmuffs, let's see if we can hit this target. So again, the technique is, first I'm going to look over my shoulder, look at that ribbon, then get my scope, look down range, right? And pretty much at that point, there's no coming back to this. You got to take the shot quickly enough before the wind up here changes direction again. Let me zoom you guys out. Okay, there it is, 100 yards, kind of in the middle of your screen. Erase up just a little bit. Hopefully I'll get some hits. Like I said, the wind is very unpredictable. So, this gun has a 50-yard zero. So at 100 yards, basically it's a 4-inch drop, right? So I'm aiming at the top of that target, right? So I'm aiming 4 inches high, because I've got a 50-yard zero with this 9mm. All right, right now the wind is just dead, so I don't want to bother taking the shot. Let me wait for the wind to pick up just a little bit. All right, now I got wind downrange, right? I can see those ribbons. Up here it's coming straight in, out there it's going to the left. I'm just going to adjust about 3 inches to the left. Coming straight in. Okay, that was with the wind up here coming straight in, and the ribbon down there going a little bit to the right. So I just adjusted about 3 inches to the left. All right, so now I got the ribbons are dead up here and the dead down there. So I'm just going to wait until I get some wind so I can practice. All right, now the ribbons down there are pushing to the right. Here they're coming straight in, so I'm going to go 3 inches to the left again. See if I can get that. Okay, 3 inches to the left. Now they're going to the right again. There you go. So that was with the ribbons up here going dead. Now they're pushing to the left up here. What are we doing down here? They're dead down there. Now they're left up here, dead down there. So now I gotta go in the opposite direction. Now I'm gonna move my reticle to the right a little bit instead of to the left. Alright, now they're going left up here, left down there. So now that looks like a full 6-inch value to the left now, because they're both going to the left. Now they're coming straight in, I think. So now that was with the wind coming straight in. So with the wind straight in, I just shot straight down, down the target. And I was able to hit it. Now we got pushing to the right over here, and all right, now we're going 6 inches to the left. Giving it a full value, 6 inches to the left. Let me bring you guys back out. All right, so as you guys saw, that is some fun experimentation. Because like I said, I'm looking at this ribbon over here, then trying to look at that ribbon down there and trying to make a quick adjustment. And it's not like, I mean, you guys have seen me with this rifle hitting those 6-inch plates on a nice day, right? Where I'm getting, you know, with Tula, I'm getting at 145 yards, I'm not missing, right? I'm just getting one after the other. You know, with the wind, it all completely changes now, right? Now there's a lot of me looking at the ribbons, trying to figure out what the hell the wind's doing and what type of adjustment I need to make. Now, obviously, if I had a larger plate like that, you know, making a slight wind adjustment, you know, I probably would have been, you know, I would have had a much higher success rate. But here's the thing, you got to make it a little challenging for yourself, right? If you're going to be playing with the wind, you've got to put a small enough target out there where it really forces you to try and, you know, make adjustments in order to get on target. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, let me show you this. That's on 9mm. There's not a whole lot of wind data out there on 9mm, so that's why I thought this video would be good to do. There's a lot on 223 and 308s, because a lot of people shoot that on windy days. But on 9mm, there's not a whole lot of information. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop some comments, let me know what you guys think. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notification. I'll talk to you all soon.